I love me a good underdog sports movie, and this is just that. Hustle is the newest Netflix original and stars Adam Sandler, Ben Foster, Queen Latifah, and Juancho Hernangomez. A washed-up basketball scout discovers a phenomenal street ball player while in Spain and sees the prospect as his opportunity to get back into the NBA. Now, as for me, I'm a pretty big sports fan, and in particular, I love basketball. So going into this movie, I was interested to see if it was going to be another great sports movie, because it's always fun to stumble across a really solid sports movie that'll have your blood pumping and one that'll have you so engaged and into the story. Plus, Adam Sandler in a dramatic role, sign me up. And I'm very happy to say that Hustle is both a great sports movie and a great underdog story. Now, I mentioned how I love a good dramatic role from Adam Sandler, and here he is terrific per usual. He brings both the comedic side of his acting and the dramatic side. And we'll talk more about the comedy and drama in a second, but his performance, I love it when he gives a good dramatic role. Kind of moving away from his cliche comedies, because for so many years that's what we knew him as, the funny comedy guy. But over the past couple of years, he's had a resurgence in like the drama category, and it was great to see him in a role like this. And the rest of the cast is solid as well, but Juancho Hernangomez, who is an actual NBA player, in this movie he plays the fictional Bo Cruz. When you look at athletes turned actors, they don't necessarily give the greatest performances, but I would say here he delivers a solid performance, especially for his first one ever. He's a great basketball player. He delivers a believable performance, and his character is fairly fleshed out too. And that's something else I will say. Each and every single one of these characters are pretty fleshed out. Say for our leads at least, Adam Sandler, he has a family and he has a story that you can connect to. And Hernangomez's character is a character you can also latch onto. But I'll tell you who is a character that I wasn't a big fan of, and that's Ben Foster's character. This is one of my issues with the movie, but he may be the most cliche villain ever. He's no real villain, antagonist, whatever you want to call him. He's basically not nice to Adam Sandler. How about that? And the way that he is written, you see every movie he's gonna make coming from a mile away. And the predictable side of it does go into the movie as well, but he's just written off as a cliche character that you don't like, and I guess he fits that role well enough. And then when talking about the comedy and drama side of it, I found every joke that the movie introduced to be funny, like laugh out loud funny. It was pretty hilarious, and it has those comedic elements, but it also has the dramatic elements as well. Like I mentioned with Adam Sandler's character and his family, as well as Hernangomez's character, and it balances both very well. I also thought that the direction from Jeremiah Zagar, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, was very good. It has style and it has flair, which is good when you have a movie that may be kind of by the books, predictable. Especially when you're on the court, you feel like you're on the court with these players. It's a handful of shots when you're like pretty much in practice with them. So what could have been a fairly simplistic direction to take the movie, he brought a little flair to it, and there's some nice editing as well. But I think where this movie works so well is the fact that it's such a good underdog story. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a huge fan of an underdog story. And when it's done well, I get my blood pumping when they're in the run sequences. You know, you think of the training sequences in Rocky or Creed. And here, for example, Adam Sandler makes the character run up a hill under a specific amount of minutes. And there are the training montages, but I thought they were really good. And in the training montage sequences, there's also a great soundtrack. And when it comes to the third act, I was in the story. I was hoping that our main character would do well, prevail after all the setbacks he's faced. And like I mentioned, it's also a superb sports movie. And something that I did enjoy was how it took you behind the scenes of everything basketball. You see them when they're training. You see them when they're going through the draft. You also see the front office and what it's like to be a coach. So all of that worked. But I feel like where this movie doesn't work is when it becomes predictable and cliche. But that really is a fairly small issue I have. Because there have been so many sports movies, you're going to have some predictability elements to it. And while I was pretty much predicting everything that was going to happen, whatever's going to happen in the next scene, and I might have preferred a couple surprises within the story, it's still not a big deal. And when it comes down to it, this is pretty much better than a lot of the stuff that Netflix is making. If you're a fan of the sports movie genre, this one is definitely for you. Adam Sandler continues to prove why I want to see more of him in dramatic roles. He's great, as well as the supporting cast. It's funny, but it's also emotional. And the story is fun, albeit predictable. In the end, it's worth a watch on Netflix, and it's one that I recommend. I'm going to give Hustle a B. Like I mentioned, if you're a sports fan or you're a sports movie fan, this one is definitely one to look out for. Thank you so much for watching this review, and if you did enjoy it, consider giving it a like as well as subscribing and hitting that notification bell to get notified whenever new videos like this go live. As always, look forward to more videos coming soon. My name is Ben, people call me Meter, and I'll see you guys in the next one.